Good. Your life. Hello, Dr. Femi. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Been a
Uh,
while.
yeah, it's
You
been
know,
long. I mean,
the first time I kind of the first experience of you that comes to my mind was when you are trying to doctor your results when you were when you were in secondary school or Abolu at that time. that was that was the first that was the first let me say encounter or something that came to my head.
experience.
That was the
Hmm.
first experience of you that I got to know of. And it was like I was like, so how did you come from doctoring your results to being a medical doctor? I know it was happening in between that space. Nobody, you cannot predict it. Nothing. Somebody that is doctoring results is going to be a medical doctor.
Yeah.
No, no, no. What happened? This doesn't need to. What happened between that space? Why do you think of doctoring your results?
Okay. It's kind of crazy, but let me start somewhere. So while growing up as a my parents, and we kind of have a very good relationship, sort of. So I was this guy that my primary school and primary school most often primary school I was like doing very well. I was number one or number two, and at that era, I and somebody were always at the top. I and if I don't know if you know him, so I don't know. So we always had to either he comes first or I come first and then second. So all of a sudden, I got into my secondary school. It became my first semester was good, second semester was good, second time was good. Then I went to I think it was JS2 or JS3. Then I came to SS1, 2. It was struggle. Why? Because the reason was because I was not staying with my parents. That's the truth. I was not staying with my parents. I was staying with my, grandparents and all that with different set of people, and it kind of influenced my life in a very different way. I was not having time to study. It was difficult, and my dad has always been that person that loves excellence. He likes excellence a lot. So all of a sudden, I now go on of my results. Jesus Christ, it wasn't that bad. That's the funny part of the story. It wasn't that bad. It
It's not like
was
it's
it
bad
was more
time
of
like that.
no, it wasn't that bad. It was more of C's, B's, and I was like, God, my dad is gonna kill me for this. He's gonna kill me for this. Then I started looking for a way to change the results. I changed. Anywhere I see C, I might change it to A. That kind of a thing. And my dad was like, he wasn't even angry with it. He didn't even know about it when I showed him the results. It was when I now went to Aquinas College, Akure, that everything
Yeah.
started playing back, Then they now had to go back to my school because Aquinas College didn't accept the result. They felt it was a doctored result. You
Mm.
get? So they now went back to my school. Like, no. We didn't give this guy this results. Where did he get it from? So that was how they went to my school and checked it. My dad was crazy. He was so furious. And he was like, so the proprietor then, Amadou, was like, this result wasn't that bad. Why did this guy change this result? So
Yeah.
my mom was my great support because my mom she's kind of my number one. Did you get? So she was like, this guy knows where he's coming from a place of excellence, and probably he was not keeping up to the pace. Then he had to do something to influence the result. So I couldn't. My mom was influential in making me a doctor. She's fact number one. Do you get?
Wow.
Now my journey being a doctor, it's funny. Nobody has heard this from me, but I'm going to tell you today.
Okay.
In my church then,
Yeah.
probably you might not even know that he influenced me. This guy is a doctor. Well, he was my primary school classmates, so we're the ones at the top. So anytime he comes back home, my church has a way of saying, we are welcoming our doctor back home. Everybody will be clapping for him.
That prestige.
Everybody will be clapping for him. I was like, why? Something is wrong with you, man. I was like, it happened the first time. It happened the second time. Nah. I wasn't myself. I'm being serious. I wasn't myself. I went, prayed. I was like, what is wrong with me? And, from that Aquinas life, joining bad guys, that kind of life, it was bad. It was bad. Even though I was flowing around with the bad guys then, I was still doing well somehow. I didn't repeat a class in Aquinas college.
Because
So
the potential is just there. The brilliance is there.
it's just there. It's just there, but there was nothing to fuel it. So when I saw that, it challenged me a lot. Do you know that day, I sold my phone. The only phone I had, I sold it. I went to the market, pushed wheelbarrow in the market, got some money, went to the bookshop, bought all my books for JAMB. I bought all my books. I think it was the Dome Biology. I bought Modern Biology. I bought OKK, New and Modern Physics. I bought Apabio, that chemistry textbook. I bought every single thing. Then I went to meet my mother. I want to make you proud, Mom. That was the day she nearly cried. I want to make you proud. I'm sorry for being a fool for a very long time. So she now said, okay, that's fine. What is your plan? So I told her my plan. So I told her I have 3K with me. That time, Excel lesson was 3,000 naira. Excel was 3,000 that time. I can't forget.
Interesting.
Excel jam lesson was 3,000 naira. So I only had 1 month's payment with me. Yeah. So my mom said, you know what? I'm going to support you. Just go ahead with your plans. So that's how I entered Excel with my full textbooks and my 3,000 naira. And with the passion burning in me that, no, this boy, I must score 300 in JAMB. I must do this in JAMB. So that's how the journey started.
That's, what's gripping me here is that you sold your phone, went to the market, pushed wheelbarrow.
I sold my phone. Yes. I sold my phone. I went to the market, pushed wheelbarrow for... You said what?
Who asked you to sell your phone?
No, nobody. I was like, how do I get money for this now? How do I get from? I think it was Sajem phone. Was it Sajem? One nonsense phone that time. So I went. I called one of my guys that is doing phone repairs. I asked him, how much does this phone worth? He told me it was I think it was 4,000 naira or 2,000 naira, yeah, or 5,000. So I told him, please just sell it. I need the money urgently. He said no problem. That day that he sold it. He now called me, hey, why I've sold the phone. So he brought the money in cash and gave it to me. So that was how I said, yes, I think I can start something with this. Then I went to the market, bought all my textbook. My textbook.
People always complain a lot. That's like, people always say, when they want to start something, like, for example, I don't have money to... You could have said you don't have money. You could have said my mom did not buy me textbook.
You can sell your trousers. There's nothing. I mean, I don't see excuses. I'm not a fan of a lot of excuses. So I'm not that kind of. I'm not a fan. I feel like whatever you want to do, you could achieve. That's my. You can ask. You are friends with my brother, so he will tell you more about me. Like, I feel there is no excuse. And I think that was how we're brought up, because whenever we ask things from our parents, my mother, especially my mom, she would ask you that, have you tried sorting out yourself? She will ask you. So if you're an orphan, would you not sort out? Sorry, my mom, that's typical mom for me. And she doesn't even, that does not stop her from helping you. I don't know if you get the point. She just wants you to see the reality of life, that you are alone. Anything can happen to me today. I might go, That's my mom for you. She lives every day as if it's her last day. So that's how it is. So that's how it's...
This is like mind. No, what I explain is what we get to hear from our parents. They get to explain to us how they sold their stuff, how they made certain sacrifices, how their mom sold her clothes for them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hearing from somebody in my own generation that I sold my phone so I could go buy my jam. Like it's mind blowing. It's telling me something crazy. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
I don't know
did
how
there.
where those thoughts are coming from because a lot of people right now as we're speaking, they are not doing well in school because my parents are not giving me the adequate amount of pocket money. Some people are not going to school now because I don't, and some people are not even doing what they should do. You hear guys saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
I want to do tech, but I don't have a laptop." But they have iPhone. Oh. So taking that, hearing you talk about how you take this decision is really mind blowing. But let's go to how you were able to change your reading habit. Now you were this guy that doctored his
Mhm.
results because
Yeah.
you want to achieve a particular grade. You felt like, you felt the potential in you that I'm an A student. I should be having A's, but
Yeah.
you didn't. So I believe there's a particular reading habit and a particular gang, a particular friendship that you have that time. How did you make that switch? Okay, you bought the
Hmm.
boot. Wow. Yes.
Okay. So when I came to Akure, this was a kind of life-changing event for me, you know. So I already had a mentality. That's the most important thing. Having the mentality, the winner's perspective. That is the most important thing. So when I came to Akure, I hmm, I saw a couple of friends then,
Mm,
Mololua, Peter. Peter is an Igbo
mm.
guy. It's in the US too. So
Wow.
I met them. So I was like, my first class with Apostle. These guys know everything.
Ah.
So they know everything. So I was like, okay, take a cheap pill. Okay. So I got to understand later that they've been in Excel for a very long time. So they understand the whole Excel moves. I said that's fine. Then I started reading. I started
So
reading.
sorry
Sometimes I'll
Excel
yeah,
is a tutorial center. I'm just trying to chip in that
yeah,
so people will understand what I'm trying to say. It's
yeah.
a tutorial
Excel
center.
is sorry, there is a tutorial in Akure for
Yeah.
jam, WAEC, anything you want to do. So I met Mololua, I met Peter, a lot of people there, Tosin and Busayo, I met a lot of them there. So we became friends. Why? Because they saw me reading for a very long time. I have the capacity to read for a very long. Like I said, the most important thing is the mentality, the winner's
Mm,
perspective. That
yeah.
will keep you ahead. That will keep you, it will fuel your energy. It's easy to start something and drop. So when you have that
Good.
mentality, you have that perspective, the winner's perspective in you, you easily don't give up. So I started reading. Sometimes I'll come to Excel 8 a.m. I'll leave 8 p.m. Sometimes 9 p.m. I'll leave. In fact, my home was basically Excel. Do you get?
Wow.
My home was basically Excel. So I started reading, keep reading. So somehow, one thing about life is that once you start an habit, those who have the habit will start attracting you. That's life for you.
They start moving towards you.
Yeah, that's just life for you. So somehow Peter came to me and said, "Oh, hey, why can we read together?" I said, "Good, fine." Somehow Busayo came. "Oh, I saw you guys reading together. Can we solve past questions together?" I said, "Yes, that's fine." Somehow Tosin came together. So we're like four of us. Then Molua came to us. So we have Molu, we have me, we have Busayo, we have Peter, we have Tosin. So that's five of us. Then there's another guy, one of us too. They call him Ima. You know, yeah,
Mm.
that's the sixth person. So we started reading together, and it's good to have a community when having such mindset, a community of people that could help you pull you through. So we started reading together. Decided from Excel. When they come to Excel, they'll come to my house first. So we read together in my house, solve past questions. They will now go to lesson together. Do you get the gist? Then, from there, all these girls now say like, this guy are smart. From there, it's like, okay, can you teach you guys? Can you teach me? All kind of things. So we started teaching. Then Peter now said that he lives far, that he wants to sleep. He wants to be sleeping in my place. Do you know I and Peter will be in the room from like when we come home exam around 8 p.m. We will study from like 10 or 9 to 8 a.m. the next day. I and Peter, we're doing it routinely, not just once. It was routinely. Then Peter now said that, oh, okay, well, how is it going? Then we started encouraging ourselves from there. Then we went on to write JAMB. All of us got a very good score. Every one of us got a very good score. Post-UTME, we massacred the post-UTME. Every one of us. Molo scored, I think, 7 something in UI. I got 3 and something in UNN.
Wow.
Peter got something in this thing in FUTA. We all gained the admission. Molo is in medicine. I was in medicine. Iman was in medicine. Busawa was in medicine. Peter he chose mining engineering, so he got admission into mining engineering. Then Tosin chose microbiology. He's in microbiology. So all of us, we got admission. And funny, do you know the funny thing? This guy, Busawa is in the UK now. It's in the UK now. Peter is here in the US with me in the US. Tosin here is in the US too. Because Peter became the best graduate student of his department, you know. And till date, we still link up because of that friendship we built back where from day one, because of the passion we all had. I don't know if you're getting the point. So that's how I changed my reading habits.
What big thing I get from this story is that if you have shitty guys around you, maybe it's because you actually cheat shit. You will actually be telling yourself a lot of lies that, oh, I'm good, I'm this, but you know, your friend actually define you.
Yeah, like I said before, that once you start a habit, you know, once you understand the principles of life, because I understood the principles of life from day one. My dad is a pastor. So I know God can do a lot of things. But there's still some things that God will not do. Not because he can't do them. Not because he can't do them. It's not a just God. Even to unbeliever. Not because he can't do them. Yeah. But he won't do them. Because there's still some kind of boundaries between man and divinity. I don't know if I get my point. He doesn't believe that thing he can do, that he feels you can do it. He won't do it because you can't do it.
Because if he's doing it, you're trying to reduce God to your own level.
Yes, exactly. So I understood the place of principles right from time. So I was not basing results only on the divine. I was still coming from the principles perspective, understanding principles and obeying principles. Because if you don't read, no one is going to pass your exams for you. Period. There is no.
Even if you fast and pray and do all of those.
No. Even if you go to Mount Everest. Nah, it's not gonna happen.
What is gonna happen? I really find your story inspiring because I talk to your brother a lot and we talk about you, and then I pick up a lot of lessons. Same thing happened to me, right? And when I was trying to move away from a lot of friends I do have to making the friends I now have this time around. I think people always feel bad when they are trying to cut off bad friends. Let me say that. You know that these friends will not help you achieve whatever you want to. You know, right? But you're feeling some sort. I don't know what you want to say about that to this kind of people. You know, I don't feel guilty when I'm moving away from somebody that I know is not helping my life.
Now, you know, there are in the teens age and in the early 20s, there are two things that can kill a man. Two things that can kill a man. One, the female factor, the X factor. That's number one. Number two, the Y factor, which is the guys around you. That's the way I see things. The female factor and the Y factor, they can kill a man. They can murder your destiny. They can destroy you and still leave you. Now, you know, like I said, what you do attract people who have same mindset,
Uh,
same
yeah.
perspective. What do you do?
Mm.
Now, if you have a lot of bad friends around you, check yourself first. That's what you need to do. Check yourself first. What are you doing that is not right? It's not about leaving those friends. No, no. And I had this mindset from start that nobody is smarter than any other person. What do I mean?
Okay.
What you need to do is to build, if you have these two things, having a work ethic and also investing in the work ethic, you are smart as anybody, as about Einstein, because it's not easy to invest in your work ethics. It's not easy. Do you get the
Mm.
point? So imagine that
Yeah.
you need to read your books around 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. is also a clubbing time for some of your friends.
Okay.
And you politely tell them, oh, Charlie, sorry, I have books to read by 8 p.m. Let me tell you, if you do that to them twice, 3 times, they will shift.
The family
To
inviting you.
you don't need to tell them that, see, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. That's not no. That's you might even target disrespectful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the point. But you see
Get
the
it.
events around you, what they do. You just fixing something around that period of time. Tell them, see, Charlie, I'm sorry. I have a meeting now with people I have, they won't invite. Once they will not, they will talk to themselves. They'll be like, say, this guy, the bad boss again. They just free him.
But the
And that's how
honest,
they will leave you. So I feel like you yourself, you are the choice of your friends. You are the one that chooses, your attitude chooses the kind of people that stay around you. I don't know if you're getting
yes,
the point.
I get it. Because I also believe that this also happens in relationship, romantic relationship
Yeah,
to be specific.
yeah,
I also
yeah.
believe
When
because
it comes to yeah,
if you as a lady, if you as a lady is saying, "Oh, I've dated 3 bad guys. All my exes are terrible. They are toxic." Oh, okay, they might actually be. But what are you doing?
check yourself. Exactly. Check yourself. It's very important you check yourself because that's the only, like, for me, that's my yardstick. I feel like that's the yardstick because once you start having the mindset of being great, you're not limiting yourself. In a few times, that's life for you. It's the principle of life. Those are the charges that guard life in itself. So what you do attracts what others do to you. That's the truth. If you like read scripture from now to the end, you have to understand that part of life to get the point now.
And accept it. Honestly, I'm really thinking about something that happened
Yeah,
in Aquinas College that time when you were in secondary school. Because I
yeah.
believe the kind of mentality you have in that space always influence what you do after school. But I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
is the key. You did you carry what you did in secondary? Did you carry it along, or did you do like 180 and just have a new life? I heard about some guys in secondary school then that they were actual thugs, and I later hear about them in life that oh, this guy just go to university and turn to another person entirely.
Yeah. Let me in Aquinas College. A lot of things happened in Aquinas. A lot of things happened. When I came into Aquinas, I met some guys. I don't want to mention name. I met some guys. We knew them to be thugs. So somehow they influenced my life at that area. Because I just came out from a traumatic case of doctoring results and I came into Aquinas, being accepted. So I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, then somehow I started meeting those guys. And you know that in Aquinas, then nobody cares about you. Nobody cares. Nobody, it's not a private school, nobody cares. So you just need to find yourself around. So in my SS1, I was not that good. Honestly, I was moving with those bad guys. I was skipping classes.
Mm-hmm.
So when results came out, I managed to promote. So when I promoted, and in my SS2, I met with Makide Kingsley. You know Kingsley. Then
Yeah.
I saw some guys in my class then, fabulous. They were reading. Now I just let me be joining them small, and be see what God can do. So somehow I had some kind of relationship with them, and that was how I kind of built a work at Sisoko. Sisoko is a footer, Oyagbile, those guys. So I joined them then. Fabulous. We're now studying together, studying
What is
together.
this?
So that's how learning from them as I was seeing how smart they were. And um, parental background is very important. Finance is very also important. So that one of the greatest thing I've told myself, I will never give my kids to somebody else to raise. Never.
Hmm.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
happen.
that's not the
Yeah.
huge influence. You.
Yeah, it had a very serious influence on me. It had a huge influence because even when I came to Aquinas College, I was not staying with my parents. I was staying with my dad's friend.
Yeah.
He wasn't staying at home. Sometimes I go out to work, he collects the money from me, kind of messy things. So I understood. Yeah. So it was very bad. So and now, once there's a problem with your background, or you're not finding things funny, you tend to derive joy from somewhere else. That's the problem with these
Yeah.
guys you are seeing. Yeah, they now move into something else, probably guys that are giving them what they want,
Mm.
or find something on media to fuel their energy from. Because we are all a product of energy. We are all a product of energy. So if the energy
Okay.
within is not balanced with the energy outside, it's a problem.
Right.
So we now tend to derive the energy from somewhere else. So that somehow I met these guys. Still the same thing I was telling you. If your attitude or your work ethic is bad, you start. A smoker don't need an invitation. Once he comes to Akure, another smoker is going to locate him. He doesn't need to invite. He doesn't need to send an invitation
I
outside.
I know this guy take
Eh,
weed.
Yes, exactly. Somehow, just I know this guy takes weed. That's how life is. You don't need an invitation. You don't need somebody to invite you. Somehow you start seeing them come. Hey, let's go and do
Abi,
something.
your energy will bring the people.
Yes, that energy will start bringing such people close to you, and that's how I met these bad guys again in Aquinas College. Before it took because changing an attitude is very difficult.
As a doctor, I know you know a lot about habits, right? And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, you have to change you have to, because for you to start doctoring your result and all of those things, there's an habit, there's a character, there's a particular attitude.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
know changing habit, changing character, it is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
What can you talk about some processes you went through to change them?
Oh, okay. See, let me tell you the truth. It's extremely difficult. It's one of the hardest thing to do. Changing habit. I understood because I'm working process. So I understood from that perspective. What I did is that I know I would feel the pain, but I neglect the pain. Do you get? You have to find something that is going to give you a positive mindset tomorrow. So what I did was that I pictured myself being a doctor. And in my class then, out of every 200 Aquinas student college, 199 wants to be a doctor. Is the truth. Back then. Yes, everybody wants to be a doctor. So being a doctor then was a very big thing. It's a big thing for us then. So I just pictured myself that, see, AY, this is where you're going to. Then I somehow, it's not once, it's little by little. I'll pick up if those guys call me, I'll say, my worry job, my later. I just leave them and go my own way. Do you get? So from the excuses, they started seeing me as this guy doesn't follow. Do you get? Then from there, I started reading I think 1 hour every day, 2 hours every day, just 2 hours every day. From there, then within me, I will have some time to pray. I don't pray long. I pray 15 minutes every day. 15 minutes.
Just
I
15
started
minutes.
having just 15 minutes. I'm not that kind of danger. So 15 minutes every day, just to make myself feel like God is involved in what I'm doing. Then 15 minutes everyday prayers. I started reading 2 hours every day. Small like that, small. Then I started seeing that myself. I started getting accustomed to that 2 hours. Somehow I changed to 3 hours. Sometimes it also feels I should go back. Do you get? But that
The
pain,
all-
that vision, yes. But that vision of no, I cannot feel. That vision of you must see.
Are you always thinking in your head that uh, will this help me become a doctor? Will this are you always
Do you
thinking
get?
doctor?
Yes, it's always in my head that I want to become a doctor. I want to become a doctor. And that time I was seeing Kingsley them struggling that well, Kingsley in medicine, I be seeing guys want to become a doctor. Did you get? Because those around me are already sounding echoing it out. Well, medicine I'm going to be a doctor in OAU. So I was seeing Pastor John, those guys were like I want to be, that's like the reason for them studying is that they want to be a doctor. I'm serious. The reason for their study is because they want to be a doctor. Do you get? Then I now see how, especially Kingsley, invests in education. That thing I saw in him changed my life. Like, I don't count the cost of anything. So far it gives me knowledge. I spend it. I don't care the cost. I don't care the cost. And the person that taught me that thing was a friend of mine that was still in my circle, Kingsley. Even till today, I don't know if you understand.
Hold your phone to buy books, so you've shown us. You've shown me that you can sacrifice anything.
Anything exactly. Yeah. So just little by little, it doesn't happen once. Your habit will start changing. You start seeing that people around you are no more around you. You see useless people. You attract useless people because you are first to use. If there are 5 useless persons, you didn't count well. You are the number 6.
Yeah,
If you have five useless friends, you didn't count well. You are the number 6 person. I don't know if I get to the point. So that's how it is. That's how I try to navigate.
Interesting thing is that, like I said at that time, it happens in relationship. Because we many people have seen them. They always try to play the blame game. We what you have said so far, observe it that the traumatic experience you went through, you had with the person you were staying with. You had the opportunity of blaming that. Oh, I'm failing. No, because of this man, that's how I'm failing.
Yeah.
You could have said, I had the vision, I had the dream of becoming a doctor, but my parents were not that well doing. So they wouldn't buy me books. You could have said, the place I was living is far away.
Yeah.
I don't have
countless reasons
around me. You could have blamed a lot of people, but you took the majority of the blame to yourself and say, I am the problem. And then that's what gave you the capacity to fix it. But in relationship these days, you observe that boys are doing it, ladies are doing it, blaming everybody. If you have dated 3 bad people, you are the fourth, just like you are the example.
You are the fourth. Yeah.
You are the fourth. There's no back and forth about it. You are the fourth. And then outsourcing blame, I've seen it in a lot of Nigerians. Outsourcing blame. We want somebody we can blame. And that is why devil has been magnified in majority of our churches these days. There's a particular devil, there's a particular village person attacking. You have to go to church every day to pray against. No, so I feel when you have the devil to blame in everything, have this terrible habit of smoking. It is devil.
Let me chip in something. When it comes to romantic relationships, everybody that dated a bad person knew that person was a bad person. Let me tell you the reason why. The reason is because you have a work ethic. Somebody came into your life. You saw that person was not fitting in. See, once something does not attract each other, you start seeing some repulsive forces. You start seeing some, some attitude that are not in cognizance to what you are doing currently. Do you get? But you give, because of romance, because of emotions, you give chance. I don't know if I get my point. Now, because this kind of thing happened to me. I was in a relationship for back then in the university for 4 years. 4 years that ended.
4 years relationship.
Yes. Now, like I said, I had a work ethic. When this girl came into my life, she was not fitting in.
There was distortion.
Yes, there was distortion. Then I tolerated it because of emotions. You won't blame her. I won't blame myself for tolerating it. I don't know if you're getting the point. You won't blame her because you know, I see a lot of people say that I dated one guy. The guy is and that. No. It doesn't work for me. Those things doesn't work for me. If I'm discussing with a lady down and she tells me, I think you are the first suspect now. I don't know if you get the point. You are the first suspect. So this babe I was dating now, she was showing some attitudes that are not consistent with my life. In fact, I knew, you can even ask Ayodele, 2 to 3 years before we ended the relationship that we weren't going to come together. We're going to marry. Wow. I knew. But I because of love and, those kind of emotional thing, yes.
Maybe we can maybe I can fix it.
Yes, I started tolerating things like, you see a girl mess up, you call her, she doesn't pick your call, she uploads some attitudes, you start enduring that kind of a thing. And when she finally comes with the breakup message, you start saying, this girl has done me bad thing. You saw it. You saw it. You saw it from the start.
It was coming.
Like, it wasn't gonna come. You saw it from the start. Do you get the point? So I don't like the blame. The blame game is a dangerous game. And that's what's happening in the country. You blame everybody, it's visible. You blame the country, you blame this, you blame that, But if everybody was doing what they're supposed to do, if everybody was on their right track, we wouldn't have a destructive country now.
Yeah.
We wouldn't.
Taking responsibility was one thing that I did that changed my life. Like, I started blaming myself for anything that happened. I had a very terrible relationship when I was in university. Like, I was begging my ex for about 8 months that please take me back. Literally, these are the kind of crazy things I've done. So, but the moment I switch everything up and be like, hey, Ola, you are the problem. When I was trying to turn into tech, I got myself this thing that if I apply to a job and they didn't give me the job, I would go back and take a new course. So as I'm applying to jobs, as I'm doing this and I'm getting rejection, I was taking new courses till I landed my first role. So I just told myself that if they didn't employ me, I am not good enough.
That's the truth.
I could have found a very gigantic devil to hang it
on. To magnify it on.
I say this devil is preventing me from getting jobs. Whereas I'm not good enough.
It's funny how we Christians don't even understand demons.
Okay. You're very religious. You're very religious and you understand this more than me.
Christians understand God more than understanding demons. And that's that. You can't fight someone you don't understand.
You don't understand.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't because the person will come through several vices. You can't. The devil respects a disciplined person.
Okay.
You see, the devil respects a disciplined person. That's why you see God has never hanged success on because you prayed well. Never. Go and check the scriptures. God has never. No. Because you prayed well. No. I got to understand this when I was in the university. Because There is no explanation you could give from scriptures why unbelievers will do well and Christians will not do well. Explanation to that. You can't come from the scriptures. Are you getting my point? You can't come from the scriptures because you can't say in John, Jesus said this. So this person, unbelievers, this is the reason they are doing well. But no, you can't say that. Do you know I got to understand that? God, out of his mercy, understand his grace he is giving to man. He knew that he wasn't going to give grace. The grace is employing. It's not for only Christians. Then he hanged it on principles. You do this, this is the result. He said, seed time and harvest time will not pass, no matter who comes. Who comes? He said that the rain falls on both the just and the unjust. It means that my grace is not only for you because you are everyone. They are my children. I mean, I can't balance it. You know, I can't say because they are not tilting towards me, I punish them. No, not that. He hangs it on the principles. You do this. That's why you see that many unbelievers, they understand this work ethics. They understand the place of hard work. You see them do very well than Christians. I can tell you for free, many Christians are not doing well. I'm telling you the truth. Many Christians are not doing well. You get it? So they now hang it on. That's why you see, recently I started thinking, why some people even go into ministries because they actually need money somehow. But that's not a discussion I want to bring up because I know a lot of people would have an attack on me because I even have some friends that I even have issues with because of that mentality. Because there is no explanation to having so many churches with young boys around that could do a lot that can do a lot to the economy of Nigeria. Do you get the point? So the Lord, God hanged it on principles. You do this, you follow these routes, you do well. You follow this route, this is the result you get. You plant maize. We trivialize small things that the scripture says. What do I mean? You plant corn. Are you not seeing? Is your brain not telling you that it's corn that it brings forth? Have you ever thought why it is not beans that comes out from when you plant corn? It means that whatever you give in, a multiple part of it is going to come out. So it depends on what you are giving in.
And the crazy part of that is the fact that it is multiple. It is not direct. It's not
one. Do you get?
If you are giving him bad habits, bad work ethics, it will multiply.
It will multiply exactly. The result, the effect is not one. It comes in folds. It's in folds. Are you not seeing that if you plant beans, it is not one beans that comes out. These are the loss of life that we trivialize. But these are the things that God based the earth on. These are the principles God based the earth on. These are the principles that God saw and say, if you understand these things, you should do well in life. God is not against doing well in life. God is not against that. God is not against doing well in life. But it won't come out of his way. That's why the concept of miracle money is bullshit. I don't want to go into that. Let's not even go into that one.
That aspect is even for lazy people.
Yeah.
You are just lazy. You are extremely lazy because thinking you deserve something without work, it's attract laziness. Because even from all of the Bible, you see how these people suffer. They needed to build the house of God. You see clear instructions. This is what you will do. Everybody, this is what you think. This is the house. This is the stone cutter. These are the You see all of these things. No part there said, they prayed and then marble stone miraculously fell from heaven. You see the part everybody is playing. And I want to that will take me to this part about med school. How were you able to go through med school? What happened after you got admission?
Med school, after I graduated, when I get admission. when I get
No,
admission, right?
when you get admission, yes. Let's go to that part.
Med school is was extremely challenging for me.
Wow.
It was a challenge for me. Let me not lie to you, because when I started med school, there was no finance. There was no
Yeah,
money at all.
you needed finance.
Yeah, that was the point. I knew that money can mar you, money can destroy you. Forget the whole you can end anything if there's no money. It can mar you. So, but that was not my I was not that's not an excuse for me. That's not an excuse for me. So what I did was I started teaching some jam lessons, where I
Started
lessons.
teaching to
Yeah,
earn
I started
money
teaching.
too.
Yeah, because then I started applying to scholarships. Then I got Agbami scholarship. Then when I got scholarship, there wasn't money at home. So most of the time when I get the money, I send back home.
Wow.
Like half of the money. Half of the money. If I get like 200K, they pay me every year. So once it's come, 200,000, I send 100,000 back home. Then I pay school fees with the remaining 100 and hold something I can use to eat. To get. And it was affecting me. It was affecting me. And med school is the challenge I had in med school. Oh boy, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny because UNM was not designed with the campuses are not in the same place. So you have to go different places you spend a lot of money to be a medical student. Exactly. So it was challenging. I wasn't doing well. And I think I engaged myself with a lot of religious activities. That was one of my.
You're very religious student.
I was extremely very religious because now I'm helping students master the difference between being religious and being a son of God, like sonship and being religious. It's two different things entirely.
It's different.
You can engage yourself and be so useless. You get it? And that's the challenges because I had that challenge. I thought it was because I was too religious. I was into a religious group, trying to join the activities, forgetting I have books to read, even though I had a work ethic.
You were thinking there's a part of religious things that you need to do to complement, right?
Yes. The plan was that I felt like, okay, I wanted to connect. That's one. Number two is that, this take up a position in church, that kind of mindset, that's the kind of mindset I had then. So I felt the church was a place to, and also I felt like it would also help me. Why? Because I didn't have money. So I knew within me, I felt church was a place to be in that could help to cushion that effect. Yeah. Well, it wasn't true. It wasn't the same. It wasn't working out like that way. I was even giving more. I was even giving out more. Do you get? So that's how somehow, but then I just find a way to cushion the effect. I would go to jam lessons, did Ponzi at some point, then rough things together, paid bills and all that. Cleared my exams. I had some issues though, then cleared my exams. Then I now, because the church, let me explain something to you so you will understand. If I didn't go through that phase, I will not know. And I will not be able to help people. I will not. When I joined my fellowship, in that fellowship, they were not passing second MBA exam. In fact, leaders were failing. So there was no relationship I could build to help my medical journey.
Those you should have had a relationship
like what I had in Excel. Yes. So there was no relationship I could build to 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 ease my medical journey. No, no. The ones that were doing well are seniors, and they don't even care about the junior colleagues like that. Do you get? So somehow, she has struggled. I'm saying this because I will tell you the effect of it. I failed, then passed. Then I now made up my mind that okay, I'm going to help medical students coming in to understand this thing. Do you get now? Then I now said, in this fellowship, I'm going to change the narrative in this fellowship. I came in, people were not passing exams. People were not passing exams. It was terrible. And I joined the queue. I didn't pass. Do you get? Until I finally passed. I mean, there were people that withdrew from medical school. Do you get?
Wow.
So I started,
you couldn't continue.
yes, now. Yes. Then I started doing tutorials. Doing tutorials. If I see anybody doing something that is not supposed to do at the particular, I'll be very angry with the person. I was much respected in the fellowship. Like, I don't tolerate nonsense. If you are supposed to be reading and I see you doing Bible study with one papa, I will go and warn that papa. Guy, be careful. Don't do this here. Do you get? So do you know that?
What I'm saying is that why are they doing those things? You see people. There was a guy in my school then. He came in and just took the religious route, and that was it. Carry over upon carry over. Why?
Yeah, because we have this overzealousness from God that is unnecessary. Why? Because you can't do God's job for Him. You can't. You have to understand that thing. There was one thing my mom always tell me. My mom tells me that Ashiwiri don't be Jagogbelu. It's a madman that comes out and say, I want to defend the whole city. What is the analogy? Like, God knows what to do, but you said you want to do God's job for Him. Who are you? I didn't get my point. So I started that tutorial. I and my friend Pedro is a doctor too. We started a tutorial. We started preaching against that overzealousness in church. Do you know, for the first time in that fellowship, they had 100% pass in the preliminary exam.
Wow.
With distinctions.
Interesting.
So the problem was not actually the fellowship. The problem was the people in the fellowship, the people they met were a product of who we meet. It's a truth. Your life can change depending on who you meet.
Who you talk to.
When I came in, I didn't find anybody interested in medical journey. There was no inspiration like, guy, you have to read, you have to have distinction. That kind of a thing. That kind of mindset. You have to have distinction. Yeah. That kind of a thing. That's devil that says that your grade does not matter. That thing was circulating around school at some point. That it doesn't matter what you have in school. That useless mentality. That's you get.
Yeah.
If I had met people like that, yes. If I had met people like that says, okay, see, guy, as you come in, it would be a different story for me. But those guys that met me when they came in, I started mentoring them in that part of it's either a distinction or nothing. They started. Do you know that sometimes they will get their results? I didn't ask them; they will send it to me. Till today, they still send me their results in school.
Interesting.
So when I see 75, I will now ask them, who was the highest in your class? They'll tell me one guy that scored 80. Why didn't you get the highest in the class? Why are you sending me? But it's okay. That's fine. I mean, you are just building up something. This is how that fellowship. In fact, recently, they released that mentality. I transferred it to almost all of them before I left school. Recently, they sent me a message that they just release our secondary result to everybody passed. Thank you for starting up the legacy. Thank you. We are also keeping the legacy. Wow. So the problem was who they met in church.
It was not the Christianity. It was not the. It's not church.
That is not the reason for Christianity.
Yeah.
No. I was arguing with a lady recently, and I told her, church started giving them go and read church history. Many people have not read church history. Even those that said they claim that they have read church history, is because their pastor said it in church. They've not read church history. You want Kinkawi? They've not read church history. They've not. Go and read church history. What the government is doing, church actually started it. Go and read church
Yes,
history.
all of it.
Go and read church history very well. You think of them, don't even read church history. They'll be telling you stories that their pastor said in church. I mean, I'm a Christian. I mean, you get. So that's the. So I think it's a function of who they met in school. Because coming out from secondary school, it's not a guarantee that you do well in the university.
It is not.
Being the best in secondary school is not a guarantee. You can come in
Because
and meet a useless person. And that person will mentor you in a very useless part.
I recorded a podcast recently where I spoke about building accountability structures. And this is exactly what you are saying is what I discussed in that podcast. But I was just thinking about it that most people, you have your friend, very brilliant in primary school and secondary school. Very, very brilliant. And they'll get to university. And it looks like their intelligence evaporated.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, it didn't. What changes is a particular accountability structure. Maybe your uncle, your parents, that will be like, oh, if you don't do your assignment, I'll flog you. There's somebody there's a structure you fear. There's some people you don't want to disappoint. But the moment you get to university, another ball game, and that like it's another. If you don't rebuild that structure for yourself, you will continue to fail, and that will be the genesis of failure. Even up to now that we now work, if you don't accountability
structure
for yourself, you will just miss it.
Yeah, and that's the truth. Because when you come to the university, you feel like you've arrived. That's one. You can do anything you like. Number two, then you start meeting new people, then you start seeing new mentors. Either they are people that are motivated or people that are very useless, then depending on who you meet. Then when you now meet, then those people most likely will not start mentoring you in their own paths. Then you become like them gradually.
Yes.
Irrespective of who you were before.
Let's go to about studying. Let's talk about studying. Recently, some of my books, I'm kind of studying them. And I got to understand that there's a big difference between reading and studying. It's very, very deep to the point that when I start diving into some of my books I've read before, and I kind of start studying them. Maybe after reading a particular chapter, I will now do some Google search and read more about whatever example the author is citing. And I was like, oh, it makes more sense. It impacts me the more. So how do you study? I think medical students are like they are awesome. They are up there when it comes to brain and honestly, any medical student, I respect them a lot. How do you study?
Okay, the truth is that, and this is the truth, medical school is a journey of understanding self, how to study. Because exam does not end in medical school. You keep writing exams till whenever. Even in the US, that you are a doctor does not guarantee that you are a doctor in next 5 years. Because you have to write exam next 5 years to be sure that you are in keeping with the current research. Not in Nigeria, where you got on 10 years, don't even know what to happen again. You get that. But it's different here in the US. Now, about studying, there are two kinds of studying. It's either you are studying for something, an exam, or you are studying to become better. That's a different route entirely. You get. Now, let me come from an exam perspective. Now, this is how I study. Once I finish reading, then I need something to be sure that what I'm studying is here.
Okay.
Or something that will tell me where I am. The level I am with this book I'm reading. So that's the effect of past questions. Do you get now? So once I read once, you don't need to keep reading a book 5 times when you have not solved questions to know if you are in keeping.
To understand your
yes, to know the level where you are. So when I finish reading, then I calm down, take past questions, I solve. Okay, Out of 100 questions, I got 25. Bad stats. Okay. What are the questions that I felt I failed that I didn't know the reason? Then you go through those questions again. Because, during my medical journey, I got to understand that many people know a lot, but tying it down to the question is the problem. You might know a lot and still fail. That's medical school for you. You can know a lot and still fail exams. Because once you know a lot, you need to be able to tie those questions, tie what you know to the questions you're going to be asked. I don't know if you are getting my point. So as to do well. Because if you cannot tie them with questions, you can be knowledgeable. But the wisdom is the principal thing. Applying it is a problem. I don't know if you get my point. Now, coming to studying for self-improvement, you take a book, you study it. Studying is not complete until its application. It's not complete. But you can't tell me you're ready for fun. You can't tell me you're ready for fun. It's stressful reading, studying. It's stressful to study. Are you studying? You are going through those stress because it's fun? No. What are the things you learned from that book? How can I apply it? Then evaluate yourself next month or 2 months later. Those things I had in that book, what is the improvement in my life now? Can I see changes?
Am I implementing them?
Do you get, is it affecting the way, if it's, okay, let me pick a book now on finances. You pick a book on finances, you study it. Oh, these are the principles I got of finance in this book. You apply them. Then you check up, is it working? Or what the author says is wrong, or what the person says is not, I'm not understanding. Then it is working for you. Kudos. You understood what the author said. The principles guiding those things he said, you understood it. If it's not working, it's either you change your style or you go back to the book and say, okay, what does this man say? What does it mean? What is in this? What does it mean? Nobody read for fun and say that I'm just reading because it's my hobby, or I don't those bullshit, I don't follow them. So you get. So sorry, two ways that I personally study. And it's fun that I study both academic and non-academic books. And in fact, there was one time I was even studying about witches and wizards, all those things when I was in medical school. Yeah, because I had a lot of stories about them, so I was just doing some kind of study about them and all that, even from the Bible perspective and all that. So
tell us what did you find out about this?
There was in Africa we always have this the firstborn curse. I don't know if you know. So I now had to go and do a background check because I was going through challenges now. I was looking for reasons why these things were happening, So I went through scriptures, looking from the times of Cain and Abel, then moving from the family of Cain, then coming down to the time of Jesus. And I saw that there was nothing like that. There was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. Everything was just a fallacy of generalization. We just generalize because probably you heard it somewhere, because Jesus was the firstborn of Joseph.
Yes,
he was the firstborn of Joseph. See, so he overruled those things that you felt were in existence. I don't know if you get the point, because even Cain, God said in scriptures that people that will kill Cain will suffer the cost. And I realized from scriptures that it was his own family, the old generation, one of his generation that killed him. Do you get? So those things about generational causes, there's a lot of stories. It doesn't really hold. And I got to understand that even the devil respects a hardworking man. There are a lot of people who don't even know God that are doing very well. You could attest to that. They don't even pray. They don't even go to church. And they are doing very well. So why are we not?
There's a place of God. There's a place of of man. That same thing of man. I so much
Exactly.
believe
So
in effort.
yeah.
Believe in effort. I just believe there's a lot of things that God does not involve itself in.
Yes. It doesn't. It doesn't involve himself. Just like a nation that wants to change, they are praying to God to change the nation for you. How? Does it tally with reality? It doesn't tally with. It doesn't tally with. When I see those kind of news, I just feel like, oh, these guys are so far behind. You know, far behind because you can't tell me the affairs of politics is changed by men and men alone. You don't bring God into that factor. You don't bring God. Even here in America, when you say God bless America, they understand that fact. And in this affair, don't bring God into it though. It's them that will change it. But you know, that's the narrative we'll see with Africa.
God is powerful. I just one of the things I don't know how to. I've not been able to do a lot of research to find out, but I just have it in my head that this God is so powerful that how to get fuel inside my generator is not something I should involve this powerful person in.
Yes.
But how to pass my exam? It's not. He has given me brain, so I believe whatever he has given man, the capacity to handle. You just leave it to man. So
let me give you a short story. You know,
right.
I teach students here that are into anatomy. Yeah. So I had this student that was not doing well academically. So only for me to realize that she has dyslexia. Dyslexia is inability to read and write. Sometimes you can't even understand what you're reading. So one day I met with her. What's wrong with you? So she told me. So she just explained to me that she cannot understand what she can't remember the things she reads. So I started creating some time for her. I made her to start writing those structures, human body structures on the board. The things that I want her to study, she will write it on the board by herself. Do you get? So I'll tell her, try, force it into your brain. I don't believe the narrative of being dyslexic. Yes, you can be dyslexic, but then you can do this by yourself. This girl is not someone that goes to church. She doesn't even know God. And they even preach the gospel to her. And they didn't preach the gospel. Do you know that on her final exams, she finished writing the exam. She came to me and said, Anthony, thank you. I said, what's the reason? She even hugged me that I should invite her for my presentation. Only for me to mark the results, and she got a B, a sounding B, 89. 89 in Nigeria is A, but 89 in Nigeria in US is B. She got 89 over 100. That's total overall score. She got a B. Now, what is my point? My point is that she was working hard. Then she now met the right person. Are you seeing those two factors working together for your good?
Effort,
irrespective of the God factor. Irrespective of the God factor.
So there's a lot of things that you can think about your life if you take matters into your hands.
Exactly. That is my point. And it's not an avenue to say God does not exist, or God exists, or God cannot do. No, we are not saying God cannot do. It's only saying God will not do it. Not do it. That's what I'm saying.
He's giving you the capacity to do it, and he's going to let you handle it.
Let you do it. Because if he does it for you, it means that because we are a progeny of God from creation, from the Christian perspective of metamorphosis. You know, we have the scientist perspective, we have the Christian perspective. From the Christian perspective, God said, let us make man in our own image. That's what God said in the beginning. And he created man. So that means we are all a progeny of God. What it means is that smokers, prostitutes, and robbers, we are all, that's what it means. There's no point to start cutting corners. That's what it means. We are all from God. Irrespective of if we separate them from either believers or non-believers. That's your own perspective from the new creation. I don't know if you're getting the point. But the truth is that He created all of us. We know that I ain't created all of us. Are you getting the point? So if God now said, let me pass an exam for this person. God has a right to do it for that people. Are you getting my point? If he does not do it for others, yes, if he doesn't do it for others, he's selfish. He's selfish God.
Yeah.
That's why he, yes. That's why it's strong for everybody. And that is why he will not do it. Not because he can't do it, but he will not do it.
Interesting perspective, Dr. Femi. Interesting perspective. Honestly, I've enjoyed myself talking to you. But I want to ask you one of this last question.
Yeah.
Can you tell me maybe 3 principles of life that you work with that you think has been helping you so far? 3 principles of life.
3 principles of life. Number one, discipline. Number one, discipline. I'm not gonna bring the godly, be not godly. That means we are talking about life now. You know, but one principle. Discipline. Discipline. Number 2, understand the place of principles. Number 1 is discipline. Number 2, understand the place of principles. Number 3, living, invest in what you believe in. That's just it. Invest in time, money, whatever you want to do, invest in it. Because these 3 cannot work without you investing. So the 3 principles I work with. Let me give you a scenario. Now, I'm doing my kind of research, and just because of how I want this knowledge, I had to pay a platform $20 per month to get articles. That's investing. You want to pass your exams. Investing is you reading your books,
buying the books.
Yes, buying the books and investing in it. Now, what does discipline mean? Discipline is making you understand that even in your pain, you have to do what is right.
Even in your pain, you have to do what is right.
Even in your pain, you have to do what you are supposed to do. Even in pain, just like you are sleeping. Sleep is very sweet, but because you have books to read, discipline is that thing that will make you stand up and say, "No, I have to go and read. I have to go and read." So, what does the principles do for me? The principles, what it does for me is understanding that God cannot do everything for you. So I understood that there are certain laws of nature. These are the principles I'm thinking about. Laws of nature that are constant. If you like, read from Genesis to Revelation. There are certain laws of nature that exist. So you have to understand that those laws of nature exist, and you have to be in time. You have to keep in check to know that. So here is the line that's been drawn. This is the line that's been drawn. God is here, man is here. I don't know if I get my point, because these are the things that will distinct your life. Because if you don't live everything based on God, the God factor, you end up losing.
Because you're already outsourcing the part that you should do. You are
Exactly.
And you have the power to play.
You have the power. That's where the principles come in. You have to understand the base of principles. You have to know that it is for anything in life, it's either good or bad. For anything in life, you have to know that, okay, let's put, for example, a politician. Let me bring politics. Sorry, I'm bringing politics into it a little bit. A politician. A politician knows that the only way you can buy people, or the only way people can find you interesting, is by giving back to them because of your position. That's the principle of life. It is not by praying for them. It's not. Do you get it now? More like, let me give you another example. You can't disappear from Nigeria to this place now. something must take you down here. It's a principle of life. It's a law of nature. Are you getting my point? You want to remember something that you have. You have to read. It's a principle of life that you have to read. You have to. How do I put it again? You want to make more. Yes. Yes. These are the principles that is guiding this life. That even God cannot change. God cannot change them. So if God cannot change it, it should never change it. Now devil won't change it. No, now there's some things that we say that it does not come. It's not as if some part does not make sense. What they are saying does not make sense to us. It doesn't make sense to us because you are telling me that the devil was the one that stopped you from becoming a doctor.
All your village people.
You get the point. So are you saying that God cannot have effect on that thing too? Are you getting my point? So there's some things that that there are laws that God himself cannot change. If God cannot change it, how can the devil come and change it? So what does the devil use? The devil use those things. Lack of discipline. When you see, these are the distractions. It's discipline that will make you say, this girl, I don't think I should have a girlfriend now. It's discipline.
Like right now,
it's not a time for it. Yes, it's discipline. It's discipline that will make you to control your emotions, even if it's burning inside you. It's discipline that will tell you, no, calm down. Are you getting my point? But where is the discipline now? Many young folks lack discipline. 99% of young folks lack discipline. Lack discipline. 99% of young folks lack discipline.
Interesting.
So that's more like how discipline, principles, understanding a bit of principles, then investing in it. That's just
I really learned a lot talking to you today. A lot. Yes. And that's the whole point of having this podcast. Why? I always tell people that I'm doing it for myself. So because I myself, I'm still trying to grow. So I don't think like, maybe somebody, I'm just posting these things online that maybe somebody will just catch it somehow. And they will just, it's personal now for me. Talking to you like this, I'm writing it down for me to go and implement. Yes. So it is, I'm learning. And thank you for coming. Well, before we go, what do you have for young guys, young men, young ladies out there? Anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, that's I keep telling people, this is very important and it's even personal to me. Know your friend, your circle, very important. Your circle is very important. There's nothing as important as your circle. There's nothing as important as your circle. That's number one. Number two is that even though you might look as if you failed, you can start from somewhere. You can start. Even though it's not looking, the vision is not looking, there was no, if I tell you a lot of crazy things my brother has done, he should have just told you. There are a lot of crazy things. Some mad things that I will not even say me no more today. Are you serious? Is it me that did this? Do you get? But the truth is that where we were today is because of the vision. It might not look like it at the start. Just start off something. Just start. Don't think of money. Start.
So where will I get the money to do this? Where will I get the funds?
Yeah, start. Let me give you a scenario. When I was in Nigeria, I was planning to write my board exams recently. One of the exams cost $1,000. Just calculate the exchange rate today.
Wow.
That's like 1.6 to 1.7 million. Hello, Mungba. Mungba 250,000 Mungba. I the collect. So how many months? Calculate how many months will I save to make
to raise that
1.6 to raise that money, 1.6 million? How? It's not possible now. Do you get?
Mm.
Do you know without that mentality, I started reading for the exam without any hope.
Having a look how where the money is coming from. I started preparing.
Yes. I didn't have didn't have nothing. I didn't have for nothing. I didn't have money. So I started preparing that somehow. Then started making some. Then I thought of having a graduate school program that can fund my, with stipend and a lot of things. So I started working towards that too. Just reading. Really hope that money will come somewhere. Do you get the point? Then in my prayer, because I pray every day, so I told God, these people think that we are against giving in church. We give a lot more than all these things. That's the problem. I told God I was going to give God 1 million. That was last year. I didn't have anything. My salary was 250,000. So I told you I was going to give donate 1 million to either Modality People's Home or giving it to. I said that you want to do a program in church that will impact life. I just give you money. That was what I told God for the year 2023. Do you know could you 2 months or 3 months in 2023? I got a job that pays me 600,000 every month.
Wow.
I got a job that pays me 600,000. I was not expecting it. If I tell you how that job came, you'll be surprised. The job came from a phone call. No interview, no submission of license. That's how I got a job. From Seco. Hey, why are you ready for this job? That's how I got it.
That's it.
Do you get it? Could do 2 weeks after that job, I got my grad program here. I was paying me well, even with my studies in the US.
Wow.
Now I've paid for that long dream of writing USMLE exam. I've paid for the exam now. So you don't need to just start.
You don't know that's how the journey will go. You don't know.
Yes. Just start. So because you need to prepare, because if opportunities come, you won't be the reason. It's painful when you are the reason opportunities don't manifest. It's painful. When you are
the reason why opportunities don't manifest.
Yes. Opportunities come, but because you're not prepared for it, it becomes a problem. It can't manifest. Don't be the reason. See, when I was in medical school, somebody gave me a job offer from Dubai to go and be a doctor in Dubai. I think what they would be paying me then was $3,000. When I was in medical school, it was my final year. Then I told the person, I have not yet graduated. And that's how the job left. What does it mean? Opportunities comes every day, but be prepared.
Be prepared.
Yes. So that's what I have for young folks. It's coming, and just don't think of opportunities. Don't just prepare. Prepare. Don't be thinking of Tiba work and go.
Yeah, whatever it is you have at hand,
just be prepared. Yes.
You need to use what you have and get started.
Exactly. Even if it's 20 naira, you think you don't have money, go and sell your phone. What are you using an iPhone 15 Pro Max for? Sell your phone. Yes. You don't have, sell anything you want, just sell it and start. Do you get? You go down, start again. That's what makes us men at this point. Do you get?
So, thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you so much.